Today we're going to talk about the numbers that show that you're in ketosis and also how those numbers can fool you and you're not in ketosis right now. All right, guys, let's get right on to, let's bypass everything before my air conditioning kicks back on. Glucose and ketones. Let's go right into it. You need a glucometer, right? This is a little device like this, but that's not a glucometer. That's just temperature. And you prick your finger, like you prick your finger, sides of your finger. It's like a pen. You put a lancer into it. It's a needle. You retract it in. It pops out. Thin needle. Prick your finger. There's a little strip that feeds the machine. You put a tiny little drop of blood, and you have to squeeze hard to get it out onto the strip, and then a number appears. A number. And with this number, you can start tracking your blood sugar fasted 2 hours after a meal. You can test it for allergies 10 minutes before you eat something, up to 2 hours afterwards. You can test 20 minutes post-workout. Those are the main ways you can test your blood sugar. Blood ketones, you can only test in the morning, fasted on an empty stomach before you start getting up to go to the bathroom or go to work or work out. You need to be doing nothing. You need to be lying in bed, lean up, test your ketones. Same thing with your fasted glucose number. If you get up and use the bathroom and start doing things, your blood sugar becomes subjective. We need to know if you're making ketones while sleeping. Are you burning body fat while sleeping? Is your blood sugar stable while sleeping? That's that fasted objective number. When you start testing in the afternoon or testing 2 hours after, let's say, lunch, it can be very subjective because you're running around, if you're stressed, if you're eating in your car. Those things stressful situations can bounce your blood sugar up even higher. That's why the fasted number is so objective. But with that said, if you're having insulin problems, your blood sugar can just climb with nowhere to go, swimming higher and higher and higher, and then you're gaining weight. That's how using a glucometer can show you why you're not dropping weight, fat weight, or gaining why you're gaining fat weight. Blood sugar, insulin. So it's just sort of a basic way to test to see what's going on with your body. You can also test for inflammation if you're waking up in the middle of the night. If you feel anxious, test your blood sugar. All right, let's go into the numbers because I feel this air con is going to flip on soon. We've got, okay, this is in milligrams per deciliter. I have many videos saying this, so I'm just reminding people who are just finding my channel. You want to see blood sugar, this is keto or carnivore, between a 75 and an 83 milligrams per deciliter. And with millimoles, it is a 4.3 to a 4.5. It's a very tight little range with millimoles and milligrams per deciliter. Fasted. You also want to see the same number all day long. And your ketones need to be between a 1.8 and a 3.0. You only test in the morning though. So don't test in the afternoon, because if you eat fat and test your ketones, that's what you're seeing on the glucometer that measures ketones, and that's subjective. That's not objective. An objective number for blood sugar, if I mixed it before, subjective is when you test later, objective is when you wake up after sleeping and you should be resting. I'm trying to burn through this real fast. If your numbers are higher than a 75 to an 83, if they're higher, or they're too low, if they're under a 75, you might be hypoglycemic. And if they're higher than an 83, your blood sugar may be too high to make ketones or to use ketones. If your ketones are below a 1.8, they're usable. You know, it's not a really humming ketotic state. But if you're at a 1.6, I'm not gonna hate on that. But a sweet spot is a 2.0. That's really nice. If you're over a 3.0, if you're at 3.1, not gonna hate. Fine. 3.2, 3.4, starting to get too high. That means they're swimming with nowhere to go and you're not using them. They come out into the toilet. That's why you can get a urine strip to see, am I losing ketones? But you don't use a urine strip to see if you're objectively in ketosis. You only use it to see if you are losing ketones. Remember, histamine can make your blood sugar spike. Stress, there it goes. Stress can make your blood sugar spike. Poor sleep can make your blood sugar spike. And then you want to go get your A1C tested. This is looking at your hemoglobin cells cycle. That is from 2 to 3 months. And if you're in the 5 points, you're not ketotic. You're not. And so many people will have blood sugar in range. Like, oh, my blood sugar is 83, but they go get their HbA1c tested and it's 5.6. You're still not in ketosis, even if you make the ketones. This is why people aren't losing the weight, the fat weight, and they're not building the muscle. And their histamine is not improving, because their body is still in an inflamed state. You have to get the stress done. You have to sleep. You have to exercise. You have to breathe right. You have to sit right. And I'm not sitting right because I'm stuck in this small little camper trying to film. Let's get this house done. But I just wanted to quickly go over numbers. Now I could go on and on and on about how to interpret your numbers and why you're not gaining weight, or why you're not losing weight, or why you are gaining weight, or why you are losing weight, why your thyroid is acting weird, why your gut is healing, or why your gut is not healing. This is what I do, and I've been doing it for years. I can tell you if your protein's too high, if your fat's too low, just by looking, it's a fly, at your numbers and your symptomology. Because you could have perfect numbers and still not be in ketosis. I know how to interpret it. Blood pressure, medications, birth control pills, testosterone, HRTs. Women, stop taking HRTs. Like, them nurses and practitioners will throw that at you like they are Tic Tacs. They are endocrine disruptors. And they'll tell you, no, it's great. And you'll see all these stupid videos on YouTube. No, it's the best thing I ever did. Right, I'm going to do something that goes against nature, and then you're not going to have like a backslap reaction to it. You will. Y'all need to connect to your hormones naturally, without taking melatonin, without drinking coffee, without drinking alcohol, without falling off the wagon. I know how to interpret the data. Be careful by what you hear. If gurus are making things sound easy, run the opposite direction. Nothing is easy. Nothing. Okay, that's it. That's what we got for tonight, because the subject of the numbers is way too extensive when it comes to your insulin numbers, your A1C numbers, your fasted numbers, testing after workout numbers, testing for allergy numbers and histamine. Those were tonight I gave you the basics. Comment below if you're confused, if you need help interpreting the data, if you need help with the consultation. Go to stephanieperson.com. You can also sign up for my course. It's a monthly subscription where I charge $15 a month, and that is to cover all 3 diets: keto, carnivore, low carb, high fat. Oh, and if you're doing carbs, like low carb, you want to see your blood sugar. Forget about the ketones. They're useless if you're eating sweet potato, rice, parsnip. Any starch just null and voids ketones. But you want to look at your blood sugar, and it should be between an 85 and a 95. That's a really healthy person. Don't go over 100. If you're over 100, it's a problem. And if you're too low, you're hypoglycemic. But that's also with keto and carnivore. And I'm out. Peace.